This was about 3 years ago, on a dark stretch of road near a main intersection in a major Bay Area city. I worked at a big-name healthy grocery store from 2014 to 2017. I was lucky to meet and work with amazing coworkers, some of whom have become my best and closest friends. One of my best friends at the time and to this day, Cav, is one of the nicest, most caring people I've ever met. He is incredibly generous, genuine, and warm and welcoming to everyone, sometimes to a fault. At the time of this story, I'm a woman in my early 20s, and Cav is a guy in his late 20s. Cav and I had a weekly ritual of driving around the city after work and talking, sometimes about our problems, sometimes about what was going well, but it was therapeutic and always something to look forward to. This particular night, we invited our buddy Ben to join us. His department always got out 30 to 45 minutes after the rest of the store, so Cav and I decided we would do a short drive around the area to pass the time until Ben was off. Cav was driving that night. We did our drive and are headed back to the store to pick up Ben. In order to get back to the store, we needed to make a U-turn at a four-way intersection. To get to the intersection, we have to go down a dark but short stretch of road. There are no streetlights for some reason. The intersection is well lit, always busy, and has shopping center plazas on each side. From the dark stretch of road, it's exactly 302 feet, according to Google Maps, to the main, well-lit, and ever-busy intersection. As we're driving down the dark section, Cav suddenly interrupts what I was saying and says, "Oh my God, did you see that person waving?" He slows down the car as I look back. "No, what are you talking about? You didn't see them? There was someone in a black hoodie waving us down." I'm looking back. I have poor eyesight. "No, I don't see anyone. There's no one there." As I'm saying this, Cav is pulling into the empty parking lot, parallel to the dark stretch of road. He reaches to the back seat and is moving jackets and other stuff off the seat, obviously making room for this person. "No, Cav," I said. "No one is getting in the car. Do you understand?" But what if they need?" "No, there's no one there. And if there were, they could walk up the fucking intersection." He agrees, but insists we continue to circle around and check. I reluctantly agree, but realize I have no choice anyway. We circle back, and sure enough, there is a girl my age in her early 20s, standing alone, wearing all black. She has a hoodie on. She looks disheveled and is sort of crying, maybe? Cav rolls down the passenger window, my window, about halfway, to which I roll it back up another quarter of the way and asks her if she's okay. She seems off, and I immediately have awful vibes from her. "4 guys stole my purse," she says, with her hands over her face. "It had my wallet. I literally lost everything, and I don't have a phone." The weirdest thing about this is that she wasn't crying. She was stretching her words out and whining. She wasn't crying. I said, "Okay, we'll call the police for you. Why don't you walk up to the well-lit plaza at the main intersection, and we'll wait with you for the police." "No," she said adamantly. "It won't help. I already called the police an hour ago." This is when I started to freak out. She just said that she didn't have a phone. She'd been standing in the dark for an hour? "I thought you didn't have a phone," I said. I do. It's dead." All of this is happening in rapid fire, and before I can really mentally get into what's going on, Cav tells her to get in the car so we can help her. I say, "Walk up to the plaza at the intersection and we'll help you." Cav unlocks the doors and says, "No, don't worry. We'll drive you there." The girl has her hands in the front pocket of her hoodie and gets into the car. I'm fucking pissed, fuming. The girl is acting super weird. I remember at this point that I have my box cutter on me. I reach down into my backpack and am rummaging through my crap to find it. Cav is talking to her, but everything she says is contradictory. She says that she isn't from this area. She has no idea where she is. Yet, she tells us that she grew up and lives about 6 blocks away. As we're driving, she says she wants to go to a particular bar that she could really use a drink. I thought you don't have your wallet or ID, I ask. I kept looking for my box cutter, and I'm looking back at her. She has a waxy complexion and looks into my eyes as if she's looking through me. It gives me the fucking creeps. Cav is incredibly kind to her, idiot, and keeps saying positive things, trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. While this is happening, I find my box cutter, open it all the way, and hold it on my lap. I turn back and keep my eyes on her. She tells us that she has a boyfriend nearby and asks us to take her there. She and Cav continue to talk, and she says she was kicked out of her parents' house. Her hands still remain in her pocket, and mine remains holding the box cutter. Because of this whole ordeal, we've totally forgotten about Ben. Still watching her, I pull my phone out and call him. I'm explaining to Ben what's happening, and in a matter of seconds, she went from asking us for money and alcohol and saying weird shit to just wanting to get out of the car. We did not drop her off at her boyfriend's house, but a few streets away, apparently in a random neighborhood. We drop her off, and there's a silence for a few seconds in the car. Oh my God, Cav says, laughing. She could have robbed us, or killed us. Yeah, fucking idiot. I'm 100% certain that, at the very least, she was planning to rob us. Looking back, there's so much I would have done differently, like calling the cops right away. We were lucky nothing happened, but I'm positive that there was evil in the car that night. Girl, on the side of the road, let's not meet again. So this happened about a year ago. My fiance, male 20, and I, female 20, are in college and lived in a student apartment building near campus. We lived on the 2nd floor, and the gym was on the 1st. There was a stairwell near our apartment that we typically used. This stairwell always freaked me out because it wasn't very well lit, and it was open underneath the bottom stairs. So it would have been very easy for someone to hide there, and there was a door right on the other side that opened out into a dark and not busy road. My fiancé, we'll call him A, and I decided to go work out at around 10 p.m. one Saturday night. The gym was not very busy. I think there was maybe one other guy there, but since it was Saturday night in a college town, there were a lot of people coming in and out of the building for parties. It's also important to note that the gym was an L shape with a full length of windows that showed the hallway. I spent most of my workout right in front of the glass near the door, while A was over in a different section. This means it was not obvious that we were together unless you saw us walk in together. So, a bit into my workout, I noticed 2 guys looking at me as they walk right behind me on the other side of the glass and into the stairwell. This is not unusual, so while I took note of it, I was not very concerned. A few minutes later, they walk by again, going the other way with more guys this time. They stare a bit again, and while I'm more on my guard now, I figured that they were just letting their friends in, since you needed a key card to get into any door in the apartments, and now they're going back to their apartments, and that would be it. But no, this continues to happen, where they walk by again and again, with more guys every time, reaching probably 8 guys total. After a couple of rounds with them as a group, I start seeing them walk by individually, and most of them are not trying to conceal their staring at all, even when I look at them. I go tell A what is happening, so he can watch for it also. I was a little spooked, but I was not too concerned, since I was not alone. I finish my workout, put away the weights I used, and roll up my yoga mat. During this, I'm facing away from the hallway, so I did not see this, but A said he saw one of the guys go into the bathroom that's right between the door to the gym and the stairwell, and the whole time I was putting my stuff away, He kept peeking out and staring at me. I usually will go back up to the apartment when I'm done because A's workouts are longer than mine, but I was not about to go into that creepy stairwell alone after all that. So I go and sit next to A and wait for him to be done. The next time the guy looks out of the bathroom, he sees me with A, who's a pretty large guy at 6'2", and he walks out of the bathroom and leaves. Nothing else happened, and when A is done, we leave and don't see any of the guys again. We think the guy in the bathroom was supposed to be watching for me to leave, so that when I went into the stairwell, some of the other guys would be there and probably take me out to the road and into a vehicle. But when they saw I was with A, they decided it was not worth it. This is obviously speculation. It might not be what was happening, but I can't help but think that that was their plan. From then on, I would not walk to or from the gym by myself. We moved out not too long ago, and I feel much safer at our new place. I grew up in a small Asian country and lived in the suburbs. Our town was pretty safe, so we always walked to school and took buses to other after-school lessons alone. I started taking buses alone since I was 8. This happened during the first year of junior high. I had a strict and somewhat crazy teacher that required us to be at school for extra study time by 7 a.m. instead of the regular start time of 7:30. My older sisters went to the same school, but they were often late, so I would walk to school alone basically every morning. I started seeing this old man that would be lingering around a street corner on my way to school. I was taught to be polite to the elders, so I would nod and say good morning. Usually he would wave and say good morning back. Then, as time went by, he started to make small conversations. I was quite naive back then, so whatever he asked, I answered. Like what year I was in, how I liked or disliked school, friends, etc. I knew enough not to tell him exactly where I lived. One morning, the owner of a nearby breakfast stand called out to me and told me that she noticed the old man stopping me for conversation. "Be careful, he's weird," she said. I thanked her and kept going. A few days later, I saw him again. This time, he reached out and grabbed my arm and pulled me closer to him. As skinny and short as he was surprisingly strong. I couldn't shake his hand off. His face was suddenly so close to mine, I could smell his foul breath.
"Give me a smooch,"
he said. "Oh my God, what the fuck is happening?" was all I could scream internally. I used all my strength to pull back and screamed, "No, get away from me," and ran off. I heard shouting as I passed the breakfast stand, but didn't stop nor look back. I ran all the way to school. For the rest of the week, I walked a slightly different route, which added 5 minutes to the walk. By the following week, I felt that it should be okay to take the old route, so I did, so I could sleep 5 extra minutes. Walking with my guards up, I didn't see him. I said hi to the breakfast stand owner, and she asked me if I was okay. Then she told me that she and her customers saw what had happened and ran him off and told him not to show his face around again. Hey friends, I just wanted to end this video by thanking you for your continued support. You all mean so much to me, and I hope that you're doing well. Please comment and like if you enjoyed. Take good care and sweet dreams.